Hello. We're in the final stretch. 2 of the last 5 episodes will be discussed today. Before I do that, it occurred to me that it might be helpful when I suggest that you click the link below to the Amazon page if I show closer the cover of my book that it would be nice if you bought a copy of, and then you can leave a review on Amazon, or you can comment on one of my videos with what you think of it. But yes, I've been advertising it, but way back here, it's hard to see. So yeah, and I'm very proud of the cover. I didn't paint it, but I picked it. Who painted it? It was painted by, I put a credit in, Jean-Jacques Francois Le Barbier. I've said that in other videos, but I picked the font for the and the placement of the title. So I just wanted to put that rather than just say you can buy it, showing how nice it looks and how pretty it would be on your night table or something. Anyway, to the now it's $9.99 paperback and $4.99 on Kindle, or if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. And if you get it for free, it doesn't necessarily benefit me, but then if you write about it in the comments or on Amazon, then that is beneficial. So go ahead and read it for free if you want to. So the 2 episodes are The Tale of the Vacant Lot and The Tale of a Door Unlocked. And I hope that when I do the title of the video, I remember it's a door unlocked and not an unlocked door, as I wrote down initially when I was labeling where the notes are. So, lot more notes for the first one than for the second one. I like to use 1 page per 2 episodes. So I'll start. The Midnight Society, they're sharing their most valuable thing. They each bring valuable things. There's some jewelry. Gary's got a Houdini's autograph. This book is one of my most valuable things now. If I had to pick a most valuable thing, I would need more time than just thinking, just occurring to me now that I should have brought that information potentially to this video. But I may or may not get back to you. Chances are my most valuable thing was featured in the video All My Bears, which you can find, just search it on my thing, because I don't know how to do the making a link to it show up here or here in the middle of the video. I haven't mastered that yet. In the new year. Anyway, it's Kiki's story, and she asked everyone to bring their most valuable things. And hers is a snow globe, or as I like to refer to them, a shaky thing. I couldn't quite make out what the thing inside the globe was, but she's had it since she was 2. I believe her grandfather or her father gave it to her, and she said it had been on her bed since it was 2. And everyone was saying, like, that's not Gary saying this, but the sentiment was, it's not Harry Houdini's autograph. That's not actually valuable. And she said, well, value is in the eye of the beholder. And I really like that sentiment. Like, I buy a lot of used things, but like in the case of a book or a DVD, its value is whatever the seller and the buyer agree that it is worth. So if the seller is selling it for a price the buyer doesn't agree to, that is not its value to the buyer. It might be its value to the seller and to a different buyer, which is why I paid $4 for a copy of Fahrenheit 451 at one point, because I loved the cover, and it was worth it to me to have that cover. It's a beautiful cover. I don't have it handy to show, but that's an example that I often go to. So anyway, because I'm 4 minutes in now, getting to the actual episode, and there are a lot of notes. It centers on Catherine. Catherine, not very happy with her life, not very good at track and field. Her first scene is finishing a race not fast enough, I guess, to get on the team. And she has a little sister whose name is Joyce. And so at one point, Catherine, who is slightly disappointed with her life, and it's the 90s, so she's wearing a hat that resembles a derby. The wind blows her derby into a vacant lot where Greek pillars and a kind of like a Middle Eastern little shop, kind of Mediterranean shop with veils and things shows up, and she goes into it because that's what you do when there was an empty vacant lot, and now there's something out of another time, and she meets a veiled woman who offers her shoes that will make her fast enough to get on the team, and says, well, you don't have to pay in money, we can make a trade, something of value. She first suggests Catherine's ring, which was her grandfather's ring, and Catherine says, no, I can't give you the ring. And then the veiled woman says, well, maybe I'll take something that you don't value. And then she tells Catherine to, have I been saying Caitlin? Catherine. She tells Catherine to take the shoes. And Catherine says, but you didn't take anything. And she says, yes, I did. And these shoes make her fast enough. She gets on the team. And then she's mean to the girl that she beat. I forget that girl's name. I don't know if I ever knew the girl's name. But she's suddenly a mean person. She kind of snaps at her, says, I guess you weren't fast enough. At one point, she looks into a mirror. She sees that she's got a spot on her face that wasn't there before, but as always happens, when she looks back, when someone else is looking, it's gone. So it is established at some point that this hot guy named Eric is attractive. Her little sister points it out, actually. And he takes notice of her now that she's fast and an athlete herself. But Eric has a girlfriend. And they talk about, in her presence, about tickets to see some concert that he really wants to go to. So she goes back to the shop looking for something to impress him. First time she was disappointed about her race, now she wants to get the guy. She goes back to get something to impress the boy, and she leaves. The shop kind of disappears. She has another encounter with the veiled woman. The shop disappears, but she's wearing a dress that she'd been looking at, and it was similar green to what I'm wearing. And the dress impresses the boy. And then she's helping her sister study in the next scene while her sister's admiring her dress. She's helping her sister study. This is something that they do, and she's mean to her sister, calls her stupid. So the sister kind of like, what's going on with my sister? Joyce is the sister. And then there are more spots on her face, but again, nobody can see them. They kind of disappear after a while. And she seems ready to apologize to the person. She's back at school. She seems ready to apologize to the person she was first mean to, who she beat in the race. But then she sees the veiled woman and runs to the bathroom, where she sees spots all over her face in the mirror. And the veiled woman appears and takes off her veil, and turns out she's got all sorts of blotches on her face. She offers tickets to the concert that the boy wants to go to Catherine, and Catherine still hasn't figured out that this is a Faustian bargain, and takes the tickets, and then runs right into Eric, he says, "Oh, you've got the tickets. I will go on a date with you." But now she has to get new clothes. See, it's a constantly keeps going round and round and round. There's never enough, and that is, of course, part of the lesson. So this time she goes to get new clothes for her date, but her sister follows her, and she gets new clothes, or no, she goes to the place, and she gets, but she decides not to continue to do the bargain. But her sister has followed her, as I mentioned, and her sister gets the whole deal in one. And then, and what she notices when her sister comes home and is all made up and all not looking mousy, but now looking like one of the cool kids and confident. And then the boy arrives to take her on a date, which complicates things again. So Catherine then, they've both she and her sister come down with the blotches. Somehow she gets past the boyfriend, the boy Eric, and she leaves her house again to go back to the shop. I don't know if the vacant lot must be halfway between the school and her house. Joyce goes too, um, but or Joyce doesn't go, and Catherine tries to give back all the stuff, but it's too late. The woman, Marie is her name, has already gotten her life. I guess that's how they phrase it. I don't quite understand, because it's not like she's going to take over Catherine's position at school, I don't think. It's just that she got her face looking pretty again, Marie. But the idea is that Catherine thought her life had no value. And I guess so did the sister, following her older sister's example. You must always be careful with your younger siblings that you set a good example. Catherine offers the ring at long last that Marie had wanted in the beginning in exchange for Joyce's life back. So she'll fix her younger sister, not necessarily her. She gives the ring, and the ring putrefies Marie, and thereby fixes Catherine and Joyce, who return in time for the date with Eric, but she no longer has the tickets because she gave them back. So he says, that's okay, I just wanted to get to know you. Let's just take a walk. And so that is the end of the story. And then we're back out of the Midnight Society. Gary declares it over, but Tucker comes over to Stig. Now Stig had sat out the valuable things. Too embarrassed he was. But Tucker really wants to know, and so Stig finally reveals that what he values most is his goldfish. So Stig has a heart. Let's see. A door unlocked. It's not even the door unlocked. It's a door unlocked. It's a weird title. And it's a Gary story. So Gary brings a crystal ball, and at the beginning he's telling everyone's fortunes. I think that Kiki's going to be a singer. Betty Ann's going to be a diplomat. I forget what he says about Sam, but Sam is, of course, she and Gary are together. So he starts telling people's fortunes, and then, that's what the story is about. What if you know the future? How does that affect you? How does that affect how you conduct yourself? Would you rather not know the future? That sort of thing. So we meet. First time I wrote it over something else. I think it's Justin. Is it Justin? I think it is Justin. Justin, who's got a little brother. What's Justin's little brother's name? I don't know. Ben. No, Ben is his friend. The girl is Ashley. Ashley's brother is Brad. I don't know that we ever get Justin's little brother's name. I don't even know if it's Justin's name. Is it on the Wikipedia? Sardo sells magic to a teenage boy. Okay, so Sardo. Sardo is in the story. I'm going to call him Justin. Justin's little brother, we find Justin and his friend Ben are wandering past this abandoned house that his little brother's group of friends insist that new people in town go into the house to prove that they are, worthy of hanging out. It's kind of like, what was it, the one where they're cousins and there's a house next door that is being sold, but it's got a ghost, and the ghost is in the mirror, and it turns out that the housekeeper, babysitter in the inhabited house is related somehow. It's kind of like that. So that's how, Ben and Justin are walking by, and Justin says, "Mom says you're not allowed to go in," is yelling after his brother and his friends who have just left the house. And they talk about how it's haunted and whatnot, and that's the setup. Now, later on, they're talking about girls and stuff, and Ben's crush comes up, and so he banishes Justin, and Justin's like wondering, where can I go? I'll just go into this magic shop. It's Sardo's magic shop, while his friend flirts with the girl. He says that he wants from Sardo something to make a girl go to the prom with him, and this is like what everybody asks of Sardo is make me more confident with girls or boys or friends or whatever. And Sardo offers him a small door that he calls the doorway to the future. Says he can ask the door anything, the door will show him anything. Is there a girl who will take me to the prom? Well, it turns out he opens not the door at first, but the little slide window, and he sees a girl. The girl's name is Ashley. We don't know this yet. He sees a girl inside the door. The girl who will be willing to go to the prom with him. There's the usual price haggling back and forth where Sardo says, but I'm losing on the deal. And he says that the door is one of a kind, but then it turns out that there's another of the door that Sardo then puts in the shop window. The door doesn't work when Ben is looking at it, but then once again we see the girl. But now we see the girl looking for Brad, and she's wandering through smoky environment, but it sort of looks like it might be intended to be mystical. You're looking into the future. She's coming out of the future. But then she's calling for someone named Brad, and then suddenly a burning rafter comes down in front of her, or on top of her. And so now Justin is obsessed with finding out who she is and how he can get her out of the burning house because he needs to go to the prom with her. So he returns to Sardo, who, of course, can't help because he's surprised to find out that the door works at all. And so the next day, they're in class together. He's in class with Ben, who still has no idea what this magic door is all about. And then Ashley, the new girl in school, is introduced to the class. And I wrote down Richie Rich because I'd recognized that boy, the one who played Justin, and he's one of the kids from the movie Richie Rich. And it might be that I recognized him from that because I just a couple of days ago watched Home Alone 2: Lost in New York after watching Home Sweet Home Alone. Anyway, so Justin kind of freaks out that he feels like he knows this girl is going to be in trouble from fire, and so he just asks weird questions like, is your father a firefighter? Or when her friends bring her a cupcake full of candles to welcome her to the school, apparently she had friends at the school already, he does the thing where he goes up on the table and runs across everybody's lunches in order to get to it and douse the candles, and of course her, with water, which does not endear him to anybody. Meanwhile, we find that her brother, Brad, has been made friends with Justin's brother, still don't know the name, who has been challenged. Brad has been challenged to go into the abandoned house, sit on the ghost's chair. See, it's haunted by the ghost of its former owner, and his chair is still up in his bedroom. I did not write down the name of the owner. So Brad goes into the house and goes looking for the chair, and it turns out that Justin's brother and all his friends pretend to be ghosts in the room, but they're all covered with sheets, like all the furniture is covered with sheets, so they blend in and then scare him. But Ashley, meanwhile, is looking for her brother, and she calls Justin because she knows, even though he's weird, his brother is friends with her brother, and so he might know. Justin's brother comes in with a candle after the reveal of the ghosts that are really kids, and then they hear Ashley come toward the house. I don't remember how she finds out, but they hear someone looking for them, and so they run away, and Justin's brother drops a candle, which is, of course, how the house catches on fire. Justin asks where the brother is of a sister that we've never seen, who has some secret, I forget. That's how it seemed pretty, plot convenient, even more plot convenient than normal plot convenient things in episodes of kids shows. The flames grow, and the house, the little door starts to smoke. Justin finds a key in a sliding panel, and then he opens the door, and he gets into the house that way. But he can't get out of the house that way, so he starts yelling for Sardo, who hears him through the door, and but he hears him mispronouncing his name, so he says the whole "it's Sardo, no Mr. accent on the dough." He realizes there's no one in the shop with him, and he says, "I have to change my name. It's finally driven me mad." But then he realizes the shouting is coming from the little door, and which is also smoking, and he follows the instructions from Justin, finds the key, opens the door. Justin and Ashley appear in his shop, and Sardo naturally reveals the door's triplet and offers it for a price to Justin. And presumably later Justin and Ashley go to the prom. But Gary says that the door never worked for Justin again. Okay, so that's the end of the story. And then Tucker takes the crystal ball and says, starts making fun of Gary and predicting him. And this is where I recognized it. I recognized both episodes from various little things, but this I recognized, like, clearly I saw where it was going as it was happening. Tucker takes the ball and he says, I predict Gary will say, I declare this meeting of the Minute Society over, and Gary starts to say it, but then stops himself because he realizes what's going on, and then Tucker says, stop it, Tucker, give it back, or something like that, and Gary says it, and so that's how the episode ends, and it's very fun. So that's those two. There are 3 more that I will watch, and then I will talk about on the internet. The Tale of the Night Shift, The Tale of the Jagged Sign, and The Tale of the Badge. And then I will be done. And I will have officially seen all of the Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes from the original run. No plans at this time to do this with revival seasons of Are You Afraid of the Dark? But I may watch them. They might be interesting. But these are my Are You Afraid of the Darks? So in the meantime, pleasant dreams, everyone.